Hey. Luvo Mlobeli for 10 marks, please explain.
Hayi mfana kithi uyabona ke kulokhu ubuyele ekhaya nekhanda mangisayina nginguthisha mbukeli ngiyovesana ngithi cha lana ngeke ngoba ke akafunanga ukuye emuva athathe lama steps.
At the full-time whistle, Lana Orlando. It's 1 Villa, 1 Skepen Ketule.
Who would have thought that this GWMP series could be as obedient as Fifi? Stay. 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 What a good boy. Hundreds of safety features like lane keeping assist, auto emergency braking, and blind spot monitoring. That's the value of more. Go with more. The GWMP series.
Playboy Shower Gels. 99.9% germ defense, 100% attraction. Available in 4 Playboy fragrances. The power of attraction.
Create a PayShop ID in under 2 minutes on the Money app. Bank the time you save and spend it on an experience more valuable than money. Visit netbank.co.za to find out more.
Hey, Papa, how are you? Yeah, you good? Good to see you, man. I just want to check if there's the space for the battery, drone batteries. Yeah. How to charge them. How are you feeling, man? Good? Yeah. Just waiting. We just need. Can they give you some PCAA, some aminos? No. Would you like an amino water? I'll have a water, please. Yeah.
Welcome you to the Banus Football Centre. We do welcome you to the Banus Football Centre. We are in Marbella today. Orlando Pirates on tour in Europe, taking on the Spanish side that were relegated at the end of last La Liga season. Granada finished at the bottom of the 20 teams and relegated along with the Cadiz, Almeria and Granada. So we welcome you to your World of Champions as Orlando Pirates look to continue their unbeaten run that they've put together so far in their tour around the European continent. 2-2 draw against Plymouth Argyle on Friday. A 2-0 victory over Sevilla, who finished 14th in La Liga last season. Goals from Tim and Lamini scoring the win for Orlando Pirates. So unbeaten in their trip overseas so far are the Buccaneers, who finished second in South Africa's Premier League in the previous season behind runaway champions Mamelodi Sundowns. The captain of Orlando Pirates will play in green today is the former Thunder Royal Zulu left-sided fullback Innocent Mayela. He's only played the one match so far, and that was against Plymouth Argyle. Didn't make the lineup against Sevilla. Does get a chance to play against Spanish opposition here today. However, joining me up in commentary is Brian 2020 Mate. Brian, good evening to you. And important matches these. You know, we saw last season during the halfway part of the season when TX Galaxy went overseas, they played about 5 or 6 matches. It made a massive difference. And look where TX Galaxy ended at the end of the season. Pirates are overseas, Sundowns are overseas, and so for that matter are Kaizer Chiefs, although we're not hearing too much about the matches of Kaizer Chiefs. But it's good to see South African clubs playing their pre-season in Europe.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, I'll take you into a statement Roger Disa made. You're saying the more South African teams go out and play this sort of friendlies, the better for the standard of our football, because they get to mature different environments. And again, you're playing with different players. Technique-wise, you tend to learn a lot. And we've seen the progress in terms of how the identity of Orlando Pirates, how they play, the assertiveness that they're showing. Coming back for the second time, they look much more relaxed. If you just said that so far, so good for them, they haven't lost a game. They're up against a team that needs to do better themselves.
Absolutely. We're underway then at the Banus Football Centre in Marbella. It is Granada in the blue who will attack the goal to the right-hand side of your screen. Orlando Pirates in their green strip. And it's good to see that many changes have come from coach Jose Ribeiro to Orlando Pirates after their victory against Sevilla. 6 changes, in fact, to the starting lineup. Innocent Mayela is one of those. Sandile Mtetwa gets his second start, but he plays for the third time, having come on as a substitute against Sevilla. You've got Makeleni Makahula in the holding midfield. You've got Patrick Maswangani, the Player of the Year in the current season, the season that's just passed in South Africa. Gilberto, the Angolan, gets his first start of the campaign after newly being signed by Orlando Pirates. And Evidence Makgopa also back in the starting lineup, a man who's very well renowned for scoring goals, and indeed did so against Plymouth Argyle. Early pressure coming from Granada. Nicely contained just for the moment by Orlando Pirates, but Granada with lots of possession early on, Brian, and it's good to see there seems to be a bit of confidence in them knocking the ball around. This is the first competitive match they've played since their relegation at the end of last season, where they finished bottom of La Liga. It really was a rather tumultuous campaign for them, but they will try and play with some confidence here against visiting Orlando Pirates, who they've never met in their career so far. On the 24th of May this year, at the end of the season, match number 38, it was Granada who played away from home against Girona. They got hammered 7-0. Now, since then, there's been a whole lot of players that have left the club, some of that have stayed, including the goalkeeper Mark Martinez, who we haven't seen just yet. Lucas Boy, the Argentinian striker, Miguel Brau has stayed. Sergio Ruiz, Ricard Sanchez and Gonzalo Villar. So half of the team have been retained, and there's obviously some new signings that have come in, including Sean Weissman, the Israeli who will play up front for Granada today. Found in the middle of the park by Pablo Sanchez, or Science.
Well, if you've mentioned the changes, at some point, because of they got relegated, there's lessons to be learned. You've got to press the reset button. make some changes, upgrade the software, and that's what they're trying to do at this stage, to try and get some combinations right, bring in new players, try new combinations. We just had the interview that was done by Thomas Mlambo with the coach and Pumuzo. And of course, they're going to try new things. They're going to try and get some of the players to blood them into the formation. They've got to embrace the coach's system of play. So it's still trial and error, but it's different for Orlando Pirates, because I think so far there's identity about them. There's new players, of course, that have come into the team. Gilberto is the sort of player that we want to see his combination with Makopa. So that's going to be interesting to see that side of competition. Combination on the side of Orlando Pirates.
Oh, absolutely. Just recently relegated, as I said, at the end of the previous season, along with Cadiz and Almeria. Granada then playing their first competitive match. Nice confident turn back by Oscar Opong, one of 4 foreign-born players in the starting lineup for Granada today. Lucas Boyd in the number 7 jerseys, Argentinian. Kamil Jozwiak from Poland is on the left-hand side. Opong in the middle of the park in the number 28 jersey, and then the Israeli up front, Sean Weisman. Goalkeeper Sipho Chaine has started all 3 matches so far. Former Royal AM and Chippa United goalminder. Really has come to the fore in recent times. Number 1 pick for Jose Ribeiro. We have seen Musi Buthelezi coming on as a substitute both times in the matches that were played so far in this mini away tournament. And being forced into making a clearance in front of Sean Weisman. Not much of a chase for Lucas Boyd, just playing on the left-hand side of the attack then for Granada. Yeah, it's been a bit of an up and down for the Granada side, because they were promoted 2 seasons ago to the Premier League, the La Liga. And it's a tough competition in La Liga, you know that, with the big sides that play there, but it's like that in any league in the world. And then relegated at the end of last season. And it's quite fascinating as well that in the Segunda division, there are 22 teams. Brian, that's
so much football.
It's a lot of football. It's 42 matches played over the course of the season. It's a lot. Cross-come shot that is not required by way of a save by Mark Martinez.
Well, I know a team in South Africa that has played that amount of sort of games, Mamelodi Sundowns, based on the competitions that they're involved in. So much football, but of course that requires depth in the squad. So much rotation that has to happen.
Mark Martinez was between the posts as the South African side put on a little bit of pressure with the new signing from Angola, Gilberto.
A big let-off for Granada. Tried to build from the back. Good pressing by Orlando Pirates to win the ball. Just unfortunate they couldn't hit the target.
You know, this does well as the preparation for the new season, but the bonding of new players from the Orlando Pirates signings that they've made, including the Angolan Gilberto, who signed from Petro Luanda. We've also got Thabiso Lobitso, who signed from Chippa United. He's on the left-hand side of play here for Orlando Pirates. Got Talent Tabata, who signed from SuperSport United, and also Salaelo Razibocha, also signed from Gavin Hunt's side. So there have been a couple of new signings, and this is a brilliant opportunity for them against tough opposition to settle down, get the combinations looked at, and just like the other matches that we've seen, the Plymouth Argyle match, the Sevilla match on Monday, at halftime the whole squad gets changed. The whole lot. It doesn't make it too easy for us upstairs here, but you know, we know the players will cope.
Yeah, we'll cope, because I guess we understand why they would do it as well, to rotate the players. It's just to add some mileage, you know, on the players' legs and to gauge their level of fitness. It's good to see Maswanganyi, who is back in the team, of course, came off in the first game against Plymouth, and we suspected that he could be having a hamstring, but it's good to see him back.
Had a very good season in the Premier League that just ended. Player of the season, and so many accolades for the amount of creativity, Boy with a good ball, nicely touched inside to Boy once again, and Weissman looking to get on the end of it.
We've just witnessed confidence of a team that knocks the ball. They've just won. They were defending at some point, but they win possession, and they don't just kick it forward. They knock it around, build from the back. And that's some identity that Orlando Pirates, we've become accustomed to their style of football. You know, just ease yourself into it, get confident on the ball, and that's exactly what we're seeing now displayed.
Evidence Makgopa wide. We expect Patrick Maswanganye to operate from that right-hand side. Gilberto from the left, and controlled in the middle of the park by Talent Mbata and Manapule Seleng, Makahule in the pocket. And then the defenders in Mayela and Mtetwa Lebitso. That's a Sandile Mtetwa, another former Chippa United player, also played for Richards Bay FC. This is Innocent Mayela. Alberto just knocked over for the moment by Sean Weissman. Nothing from the referees though. Yeah, it was a bit of a bright start for Granada, and they really pressurized the goal of Sipho Chayine. But just at the moment, Orlando Pirates are sitting with the possession, and they're putting the ball together rather nicely. I expected that ball almost to be played straight through to Evidence Makgopa, who scored against Plymouth Argyle. Leaves a bit of space open. Miguel Brau looks to defend, the 22-year-old.
You play new opponents. If you're Orlando Pirates, you've got to try and gauge things. And I guess in terms of Granada, they themselves have got to try and find a rhythm about themselves. Of course, with a new coach, they've got to try and understand the structures, the formation, how he wants them to play. Level of fitness has got to be up as well.
Bit of a clumsy looking foul in the middle of the park by Orlando Pirates, and a free kick to Granada. Heading up towards the opening 10 minutes then being completed in Marbella. No score between the two sides. I think one of the positive things, it's difficult when you're traveling, particularly away from your country, away from the continent even. But Orlando Pirates scored 2 against Plymouth Argyle in Makgopa and Ndar, and 2 against Sevilla in Tim and Dlamini. What I like about that is players in different positions that are scoring goals. It's not just left to one. He has a great opportunity to open the scoring. There might have been a hand on it from Chayine, and certainly the crossbar does a major job in preventing Pirates from going behind through science.
Let's look at defensively. I guess when we look at it now, it's not so easy, but the marking from Orlando Pirates was non-existent. If you look at where Mayela was, unattended on the right-hand side, almost got punished, big let-off, but we've got to give credit as well to the keeper.
Lucky let-off for Orlando Pirates. Maswanganye goes to cover his goalkeeper, Sipho Chayine, on the line. Corner to be taken by Gonzalo Villa. Compact ground in Marbella. Going towards the near post. It's a great header and cleared off the line once again. That's twice in a row, and this time I think it's Makgopa. We've got to touch on it. Orlando Pirates living a little dangerously, but this is very positive from a side who were relegated just 3 months ago.
But what are the lessons to be learned by Orlando Pirates? Beating onto the near post, Nda, the takeoff wasn't good enough because you have a player that gets in front of him, Gonzalez, and they almost got punished for that. And that's why you see, those are the details of the game that you've got to pay attention to. It might look like a friendly, but these are situations that will happen in an official match.
This time Adar clears a little bit more comfortably. Or the captain's armband against Sevilla. Today the captain's armband is worn by Innocent Mayela.
Landed awkward.
Lucas Boy, the Argentinian striker, coming across to ensure that his opponent is okay to continue. It doesn't look that great from up here, though.
He's a big boy, but doesn't look that good.
Nope, the stretcher has been called for, at least the medical staff from the travelling Buccaneers.
I think it's got to do with the back.
I think that's just where Olisa Nda was gesticulating towards, so a bit of a problem here for Orlando Pirates. They have named a lot of substitutes. Butler, the reserve goalkeeper. You got
it's not
Sabisi, Sasane, there's Monyani, Dion Hotto, Miguel Tim left out of the lineup. Kim Vuidi, the former Maritzburg United player, midfielder from the Democratic Republic of Congo, he was left out of the starting lineup today. Tsekhafatsa Mabasa, 16 goals last season, and left out of the starting lineup as well. And for the second time, Lucas Boy comes to see how things are happening with the Orlando Pirates player.
Did we say it's? I don't think it's Ndanda. He's right there with the dreadlocks.
Yeah, Ndar standing over there on the left-hand side of your picture, just behind Boy.
That's not Maela. Maela is there. He's up. Could it be Evidence Makhupa?
Maybe.
Oh, there's a signal. I think there's a signal to say I might have to change him. Maybe not.
Yeah, Makhupa was there when the second corner was cleared off the line, but could very well be
like
an early substitution made by Orlando Pirates. And yeah, it doesn't look that good. And it almost looked as if it was the midriff, but that looks more like a leg injury.
Yeah, that Evidence Makhupa. That's Evidence Makhupa.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So who would come on in the striking role then? Does Mabasa get an early call up here in the place of Evidence Makhupa? He's had very little opportunity down the other end, and most of his work so far has been defensively. And he picks up an injury on top of that. Little gesticulation from Sandile Mtetwa to his goalkeeper Sipho China as the referee wants the match to continue. There's been a fairly long delay tending to the South African striker. It's a good player, Evidence Makhupa. He's only 24 years old. Signed from Baroka FC.
He was under pressure when he started.
Yep.
I think the good thing is that the technical team, in particular the coach, protected him all the time and was very patient. And when he started getting the goals for the club, it earned him the national call-up as well. So that has boosted his confidence.
Absolutely. They're playing with a lot of confidence. You mentioned that a bit earlier on, Brian, and it's really good to see how Granada are shuffling the ball around. Sergio Ruiz going wide onto the left-hand side with Kamil Jozwiak. Polish-born player finds Ruiz again. Then they cross towards Oscar Opong. Right-sided fullback, born in Ghana. Back towards Mark Martinez. Starting to get into veteran status at the age of 34, but has kept his place at Granada. They lost so many good players to various different sides, but they have been able to retain a good handful of their players as well. Nice pick up here by Patrick Maswangani. Not the greatest of balls forward.
Well, it's good to see him trying to switch the ball with his right foot.
Absolutely. Evidence Makhupa's back on, by the way.
Yeah. That's Munyani there.
Pretty strong challenge from Lebitso.
Right mood. Lebitso.
Lebitso, a good player, one of the new signings, but pressure from Granada once again. There's a little bit of space in the middle of the park, and that's a lovely little touch through the middle. Cleared away by Mtetwa. There is Evidence Makhupa, almost dispossessed by Sergio Ruiz. The pace that Granada are prepared to play it seems to just be unsettling Orlando Pirates at the moment, and maybe with possession, and just need to stand on the ball a little bit and have just a little bit of patience in the early stages maybe.
I know such player who's able to gauge the temperature of the game and normally makes things happen for them, and that's Maswangani. And I've also seen some videos at halftime in the dressing room where he would talk to his teammates and say, "Why are we playing like we're scared? Let's get this ball and make use of it." That's the man I'm talking about.
Lots of players bunched in the middle of the park for Orlando Pirates. Evidence Makhupa. A little bit wide for Manapula Saleng. They're happy with their defending. I think they'd be happy with their attacking as well, Granada, so far. It's been a good opening 17.5 minutes for the side new to the First Division. Or as it is Segunda División in Spain.
What they are doing also Orlando Pirates, if you look at, there is no Mufuking for Orlando Pirates on the left-hand side. So Gilberto gets to play on the left-hand side. And you have Evidence just playing there. That's one-on-one now.
One-on-one, keeper's done very nicely. I thought Sergio Ruiz could have done a little better with the ball. Spoke about patience a bit earlier on, and maybe the 29-year-old had been a little more patient. Could have beaten Sipo Chine. One has to give a lot of credit, not only on that occasion, to the Orlando Pirates goalkeeper, but he's made a couple of terrific saves as well. Maybe the ball bounced a little awkwardly and skipped through a little quickly for Sergio Ruiz. But that's a sort of opportunity that could punish Orlando Pirates in this match. So far they've gotten away with it on a couple of occasions.
I think they've been able to conjure good moves that threatens Orlando Pirates. If you look at the Pirates goalkeeper, China has been the busiest so far in terms of having to come out, and it's always a concern if the ball gets played, you know, you bypass the center back position and you find a one-on-one situation with the keeper so far. So that becomes a bit of a problem in terms of the defensive organization.
Martinez almost inviting a little bit of trouble from Maswangani. That's nicely poached away. Bounce South Africa, Maswangani through the middle. That's a good goal from Gilberto, who scores his first goal in the colours of Orlando Pirates.
Talk about a sniper. And that's exactly what he's been. But punish mistakes. That's exactly what they've done, Orlando Pirates. And this is how they punish a mistake. Decisive. Well played for him. Maswangani laid it nicely for him. But you look at the finishing. Crisp, decisive. Talk about the dance. I've seen this. I've seen the dance already, Kev. There's videos circulating. Our eyes and ears in Spain, Thomas Blambo, they've posted Gilberto dancing. You know, so they had this dancing routine, so he showed them the dancing skills, and now he shows them why they signed him. Clinical, decisive.
Yeah, it's good to have a player, left-footed player that can score goals. Now, one has to look at the opportunities, and we had that opportunity for Ruiz just moments ago. There was an opportunity off the right wing for Science a few moments ago as well, and a couple of great saves by Sipo Chaine. And despite all of that, and against a run of play, one might suggest Orlando Pirates lead by 1-0. And that's taking your chances, isn't it?
That's definitely taking your chances. And they were quite clinical about it in terms of the finishing, Orlando Pirates.
So Gilberto can play both on the right-hand side and the left-hand side. Saleng on the right-hand side today. And as I said, no more for King in the matchday squad. We've spoken about the players that are here, and we'll speak about them more in the second half, because we're bound to see one of those matches again where Jose Ribeiro rings the changes.
Well, I can tell you now, one of the changes they were forced to make is that of Evidence Makgopa, because Sekgo Fatsomawasa has just come on. And you're going to see this sort of injury. Some players their level of fitness are not so up to scratch, and I just hope it's not too serious. We saw Maswangani, and we thought maybe it's a hamstring, but he seems to be back and he seems to be okay. And I can only hope that it's not too serious for Evidence Makgopa.
This is good preparation, not only for the South African Premier League, whose fixtures haven't been announced, but talking about announcing, let's announce the goal for Weissman. Sean Weissman then, ball in from the right-hand side again from Pablo Science. Weissman is at hand. He's just been signed again by Granada. Makes his return from Salernitana in Serie B. End of a loan spell there, the centre forward.
This looks too easy. Played quick enough, not organized in terms of their marking. You can see Dar was late. His positioning was completely wrong. And I think as a coach, these are some of the details that you want to work on. Is it the ball played on the right-hand side and quickly played into the center? And the defense was disjointed while on the Pirates.
Only 3 minutes after the goal from Gilberto, Weissman provides the equalizer. Man down for Orlando Pirates is Gilberto. Sanchez back to Martinez. Away by Brau. It's a good run again. Weissman making himself available in the middle. Ball doesn't reach Boy. Pick up in the middle by the former SuperSport United player, Talent Mbata. Yeah, I think Talent Mbata and Selelo Razibocha are going to settle in nicely at Orlando Pirates.
They like the ball on their feet. That's how they play.
Nice touch here to Maswangani again. Not a great first touch by Evidence Makhopa, but Orlando Pirates still enjoying possession. Sadile Mtetwa. Makoula. Easily cut out by Opong. Match has been played at a very impressive pace so far. It'll be interesting to see how the players maintain that over 90 minutes. We're just over a quarter of the way through this encounter. And we spoke about Orlando Pirates. They have a match up against the Qatar champions on Friday. It's only in a couple of days' time against Al Sadd, who won the championship in Qatar by 2 points. And that'll be their next opponent. Nice piece of defending from Richard Sanchez. This is Mayela. And then Orlando Pirates will be up against Disciples in the first leg of the opening round of the Champions League on the 16th of August, with a return leg a week later. So straight into the thick of things for Orlando Pirates. As far as Granada is concerned, well, a couple of these friendly encounters. They'll play Almeria, they'll play Las Palmas and Al-Wada in friendly matches before getting into the opening match of the Segunda División against Albacete. And that'll be on the same day that Orlando Pirates play against Disciples in the Champions League. So this is good preparation for both sides for those competitions.
It's another real test for Orlando Pirates, one in terms of the depth. And you look at domestically the number of competitions that are there, and now they've added another one. There's lots of traveling that they are going to embark on, so that too will require some good planning. But I also think that it is good for the players, those that might not be in the squad that travels when they play the Champions League. The state of readiness of each and every player has got to be sound. Very good.
Absolutely. And learning about the combinations, getting those combinations to work with each other. Gilberto looking to give us a sense of his right foot, because we've already seen the damage he can cause with his left. Makaulu beaten on the ball, and the midfield is crowded by Granada players. It's a good first touch, though, in the midfield by Evidence Makhopa.
Offside.
Offside against Orlando Pirates.
I see on the far side, Rocky, Gilberto was already anticipating a cross that needed to be played. He actually slipped. Is it water break? Looks like it.
Warm conditions in Marbella. It is summer in the Northern Hemisphere, so a little different to what Orlando Pirates in particular will be accustomed to, playing in South Africa at, well, if you, there's Johannesburg-based side, so even in the middle of the day, temperatures maybe in mid-teens, but yeah, nice that the players get a little bit of respite. It's been an entertaining match so far.
Well, not forgetting that there's a province that is extremely hot in South Africa, which is Thohoyandou. You and I have been there.
That's hot.
That's
in the 40s. That's another level
40s.
altogether.
That seems to be frustrating for a whole lot of teams, and I'm sure there still is, because of they're still in the Municipal League Championship. So, yeah, I think it's time for players to regroup and the coach to have a bit of conversation with one or two players. And I think they'll try and highlight the fact that defensively there seems to be too many gaps. The level of concentration, you look at how the goal was scored by Granada, that leaves a lot in terms of, you know, organization for Pirates at the back and switching on. For Granada, so far so good. Good football, rotation of the ball, and they pounce on mistakes that the opponents make.
Yeah, I'm quite enjoying the pace of the encounter as well. Both sides have scored a goal within a couple of minutes of each other, and both sides are looking fairly organised. I do like the way that Granada play. They play wide, they play with pace, they seem to have confidence in the correct ball appearing in the opposition penalty area, and there's been some good running from Lucas Boy and from Sean Weissman. Support of the right-hand side from Sainz Ruiz through the middle of the park, and yeah, at the back, Martinez might have been beaten by Gilberto, but he hasn't really been forced into making saves of any great significance.
I think when you look at the two teams, you can actually identify with the kind of style that they're playing. There's no contrast. They want to have the ball on their feet. The movement has got to be good. The passing has got to be swift as well. So it is good quality football. Pirates would not have chosen the better players to come and, you know, perfect their skills and perfect their craft. I see Mabasa is back for Orlando Pirates.
Lots of gesticulating coming from Gilberto. Maybe there's growth to be had on this left-hand side. There certainly, with the newcomer, there is to be development over the next couple of matches, and certainly at the beginning of the domestic season in South Africa for Orlando Pirates. And whichever side Gilberto plays on, the players behind him. So he's having a chat with his captain, Innocent Mayela, as we get back underway for this encounter, and just the type of ball that he would prefer and the runs that he would prefer to make. And all these things are not only sorted out in the training ground, but they certainly are sorted out with the correct communication right here in this friendly international. I beg your pardon, friendly club international.
And I'm sure the Pirates fans are watching, and I'm going to take you back to a couple of years when there was a guy called Gento Kambala, very colorful in terms of how he played his football. But Gilberto reminds me of that side of it.
Jozwiak trying to make some ground. Still Jozwiak, good save from Chaine against the Polish winger.
The Pirates players are not happy. Are they not happy with the referee, or are they not happy with their teammates? And I think it's more conversation amongst teammates, because so far they're getting bypassed with such ease. They realize now they're up against it. Forget that this team got relegated, but forget that, you know, they've just tried to regroup. But there's so much quality in terms of their football, decisiveness in terms of their passing, but also very threatening in terms of technique. And that should be an eye-opener for Orlando Pirates, that they're up against it here, 30 minutes into the game.
I've been quite impressed with the aerial presence by Granada in the Orlando Pirates penalty area as well. Long-range effort coming from Science, easily cleared away. Back it comes from Brau. That might have been a foul from Weissman, and he's blown for exactly that by the referee against Weissman. Foul on Sandile Mtetwa.
Now, question is, you have two centre-backs which I have confidence in terms of how they play. But do they have the kind of leadership Orlando Pirates, someone that could organize? Who am I talking about? There's a CBC who's very vocal in terms of organizing the defense. But there's Kogi as well, who's good at organizing the defense.
Very much so.
The two players we're talking about, do they have it in them to be able to organize the defense? So far, that communication hasn't played out, because they look a little bit disjointed, particularly in the center.
Foul here on Maswankanye by Gonzalo Villa. Free kick to Orlando Pirates. Just over half an hour played in Marbella. Granada 1, Orlando Pirates 1. Gilberto suddenly popping up on that right-hand side that he seems to favour. Mayela's pushed a lot further forward. And now all of a sudden you have Monopoulos Saleng on the left-hand side. So both of those players switching over, Saleng and Gilberto. Mayela doing a good job in adding his weight into that central penalty area. Ignacio Miguel with a header away for Granada, and Orlando Pirates will have their first corner.
what can they do? We've seen the threat that comes from a Granada team. What can they do?
First time I've had to face a set piece from Orlando Pirates today, so this will be a little bit of a test of the organization. Near post they go. It's a little cheeky backheel towards that right-hand upright of the Martinez goal. Pirates will enjoy consecutive corners here in Marbella. Another one of those runs towards the near post, and the ball almost goes in exactly the same direction. Evidence Mahopa looks a bit frustrated.
Notice something. Normally, when there's a corner, you know how traditionally they will have a player on the near post and the far post defensively to try and guard that area. Not the case in terms of Granada. They leave that space open, but the keeper, you know, in this instance, Martinez, just has to, they leave him a space for him to just control that area and have dominance in it.
Again, some good skill being shown by Science. Wide to Prao. Joswiak looking for possession. That's good work done defensively by Gilberto. And it's nice to see the versatility of the Angolan. Via in space available on the right-hand side for Granada, including Lucas Boy. Nicely kept in play by Science. It's a nice run on the overlap as well by Granada. Well cleared by Lebitso.
Brilliant. And I'll tell you why I say brilliant. I'm looking at how Granada are building from the back, how they get the ball into areas where it unsettles. You know, if you are a fullback and you are Innocent Mayela, you have the ball played behind you and you don't know, suddenly there's someone behind you who's attacking that ball. It just teaches a lot of, it gives a lot of lessons to Pirates defense in terms of watching the runner. It's not so much paying attention to the ball. You know, you've got to watch the runner.
Absolutely. Clearly Mabasa is on the field of play. The man who scored 16 goals domestically in the Premier League last season. Maybe that injury is a bit more serious than we thought to Mahopa, and maybe it's a precautionary because there are plenty of matches coming up, and it starts with this overseas trip. Finishing their overseas campaign against the Qatar champions Al Sadd before moving back to South Africa, and preparation for Disciples in the CAF Champions League, and then it's the MTN8 and it's the Premier League, and you know, there's no respite, is there? Foul by Lebitso, free kick to Granada. Joswiak looks towards the referee for a little bit of support.
We always say, you chose the career. The more success you have, the more demanding it's going to be, and there's expectations, of course. And I think for players, this is the dream. You know, it's the dream to play at the highest level and get competitive, get exposure. It's good. And I think it augurs well. The more they come out and play these friendlies in different countries, it benefits the national team.
Oh, without a doubt. There's no doubt that national coach, Mr. Bruce, will be looking on at this encounter. Granada with a free kick. They've been good aerially today. Not so good that time from Opong.
He's got that kind of physique that allows him to just make these bombing runs on the right-hand side.
Yeah, he's just 19 years old and playing in the first division, the second tier of Spanish football. Fascinating to see how many sides, just as you have in the South African context, how many teams that have played in the Premier League in Spain previously that have been relegated, and those that will play in the Segunda Division. We look at teams like Almeria, look at Deportivo La Coruña.
I was a big fan of the team.
Yeah,
I actually like the name. I like the name
Lovely.
as well.
Racing Santander, Malaga, Levante, Sporting Gijón, Real Zaragoza, all teams that have played previously in La Liga, and Granada will join the other 21 teams when the season gets underway in the middle of August. Header required in defense by Sanchez, Makaula, Lipizzo. Good first touch from Tetra. I love the forward motion from him, but maybe he just got caught a little too close to Monopoulos Aleng. Just players too close in each other's zones, seemingly.
I like the awareness of Granada. They figured Orlando Pirates so far that they're a ball-playing team. So they try and narrow that space in that midfield, congest it, and deny Orlando Pirates that space to knock it around. Now it's a question of Pirates to do problem solving, try and play it on the side.
Absolutely. Orlando Pirates coming almost towards the end of their overseas trip, on Granada starting their preparation for the new season. Lucas Boy in possession, just a little behind Weissman. And that'll be a foul.
And Gilberto, look at how far he's tracked back. It's the energy that he's got as well, the confidence. Seems to have settled in quite well. Early stages. But when you play against, when you look at the profile of the Pirates players, too many jokers in the pack, you know, you get welcomed. You can see, you can hear from the conversations in the dressing room that they tend to post, the singing that happens, the camaraderie that exists in the club.
Gilberto getting numerous touches. Clearance from Josviak. Match has just settled down at the moment. A little bit slower pace. You could find it in the sort of heat that we have in Marbella. A little bit difficult to continue the sort of pace that we had in the opening half an hour throughout 90 minutes. Now it's an opportunity to stand on the ball and build positively. Tetra, another one of his scything runs. It's a lovely angled ball as well out towards Monopoulos Aleng and company. Good defending from Opang.
I'm just looking at this Pirates team and say the competition in those positions, be it on the left or the right-hand side. You know, you have a Gilberto now that plays on the left-hand side, be right-footed. You have a Monopoulos Aleng that plays on the right-hand side, is also left-footed. So the competition for those positions, it's quite. It's going to be fun to watch. But it also tells you the depth that the team has. You have a Otto that can also play on the left-hand side.
Absolutely. And he's one of the players that have been named amongst the substitutes. Clearance from Mayela. We've got a couple of numbers forward here. Mayela continued with his run. Nicely worked in the middle of the park. Pirates complaining about some studs showing. Boy being put under pressure. It's a good fight back by Mayela and company. 3 minutes until we have first half stoppage time. 4 minutes. Masongani. A run that doesn't really benefit him. He ran almost right across from one side of the pitch to the other and gets himself in trouble now because Brau is on the attack with Josviak. Easy for Ndar. Gilberto. Mbata. Nice little turn away from Sean Weissman. That will be a free kick to Pirates. Not afraid of a bit of physicality are the Spanish outfit.
It's so interesting to, and I'm trying to compliment Orlando Pirates in terms of the choice to do the pre-season. You go to Spain, you know what you're up against in terms of the style of football. They enjoy knocking the ball around, the ball on their feet and making those little short passing games. And you wouldn't have chosen the better place to go prepare yourself because of that's the sort of style that you want to build for the team. The coach himself is from Spain, so he
Exactly.
understands. He understands the identity they want to do. I've yet to see a pre-season game in England.
Well, maybe that might have been some doors that were opened. Jose Rivero's contacts.
Yeah, you're right.
There's a good run here from Monapula Saleng. He's done well to keep the ball in play. Gilberto looking for a runner. Instead finds Mbata. Gilberto again. Good defending from Granada, but they're under a bit of pressure here. Josuek will find Brow. Yeah, no shortage of intensity in the 43 minutes that we've enjoyed in Marbella this evening. Shadow starting to lengthen already. No doubt the floodlights will take full effect in the second half.
Show me your number. Composure in the box. Another player injured. Orlando Pirates. Is it too serious? No.
An interesting one as well is the players keeping their shape and listening to the instructions of the coach, not only for short passages of time, but for an entire half, for an entire match, for 90 minutes, for, if you get brought on, if there's multiple changes, as we've seen throughout the matches against Plymouth Argyle and Sevilla in the past week, those players have to come in and immediately settle down into a pattern and a structure. And it's important to be able to understand that role when you come on as a substitute.
I also want to compliment, when you sign players, and I think I'm looking at how Pirates sign players and the caliber of the players that they're bringing in. You just mentioned players that come from Supersport and the type of players they have brought into the team. They fit in perfectly in terms of being comfortable on the ball. You can't be part of Orlando Pirates and you don't want the ball on your feet. There's gone are the days where you had vintage Bidvest Vets where it was more route one and hustling up front. So it's not like that. No. And I think I've got to compliment most of the DSTV Premier League teams. They want the ball on their feet. Very few teams that'll go route one. I'm not sure if you remember of any in the current.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one could still argue that maybe in South Africa's first division that Tuks might still play in that sort of role. There are some teams that are able to prepare against Tuks because they almost play in similar style to what Fitz used to play. But yeah, it's not as prevalent as it used to be, that sort of style of football. Oh, now a little bit of a standoff in the middle of the park between Josuek and Makaula.
Yeah, no, he's up against I call him the Gattuso of South Africa. I call him the Gattuso of South Africa. He can kick you to pieces, but he can be elegant when he wants to.
Well, just a minute added on by the referee for stoppages and injuries. Orlando Pirates scored first. Granada were quick to reply within a couple of minutes after the goal from Gilberto, who scores his debut goal for the Buccaneers in their trip away, and some discussions with the referee about maybe some things that happened in the midfield, maybe that little last fracas with Josuek. But it's been entertaining, Brian. We've had a couple of good opportunities, some good saves from Sipho Chaine. Martinez not really tested. He was beaten easily by Gilberto from the left-hand side, and then Weissman scores the equalizer to leave us. Orlando Pirates and Granada level at 1-1 at half-time in Marbella.
Sometimes when I look back and think of all the could have beens in my life, I often wonder, did I always make the right choices? Did I miss a sign? Am I on the right track? Crossroads happen all the time. We say goodbye to some. Life's road is long and rough, and there are stretches when one walks it all alone. Luckily, you don't have to, because with Ashopol's funeral cover, there is no waiting period on accidental deaths. Their Health Plus benefit gives you the option to add extra cover for unexpected changes. Ashopol has over 5 million lives covered. And trust that Ashopol will be there for you, as they've always been for many, for over 110 years. SMS call to 32813 and we will call you back.
The name's Label. Yeah, I've been a stuntman for like 15 years. That's all the same these days. I guess I just need a little...
Come alive with sunbet.coza and get more from every moment.
We'll get here one day. That one day could be today, my brother.
We are officially on the World of Champions, and that's what we're going to do with the Olympics. We are going to bring you closer to your champions. Supersport, popcorn and cheese, unplugged, together.
Playboy Limitless. A new dimension of attraction.
Get closer to your champions with Supersport and Toyota as we meet the athletes that are primed for Paris.
Bonjour, my name is Gerda Steyn. I'm a South African marathon athlete and I will be representing South Africa at the Paris Olympic Games. It will be my second Olympic Games. What I really enjoy about being a professional athlete is you can really do something that you love. You can make that your career. So I feel very privileged to be able to live this life. I won't change it for anything in the world. It's really changed my life and certainly I look forward to represent South Africa in my second Olympic Games. It's going to be a fantastic experience, I'm sure. I just want to go out there and perform at my best and play to my strengths.
Follow Africa's Olympians, bringing the fire to the greatest stage of all.
A bientôt, Paris.
Closer to your champions, sponsored by Toyota.
Wow, looking good, yeah? Shiny. This is a cool grill. Komm, willkommen, willkommen. Okay, you're welcome to have a snoop. Nice, right? This is our standard unit. You can add on whatever features you want. For a price, of course. You like curtains? Look, you have curtains, huh?
There aren't any windows.
Not standard. Not standard. Not standard. So, what do you think?
We'll let you know.
The essentials should come standard. The all-new Hyundai Grand i10 from only $3,199 per month with 0% deposit.
Martinez almost inviting a little bit of trouble from Maswan Kani. That's nicely poached away. South Africa, Maswan Kani through the middle. That's a good goal from Gilberto, who scores his first goal in the colours of Orlando Pirates.
Talk about a sniper. And that's exactly what he's been. But punish mistakes, that's exactly what they've done, Orlando Pirates. And this is how they punish a mistake. Decisive, well played for him.
That is good preparation, not only for the South African Premier League, whose fixtures haven't been announced, but talking about announcing, let's announce the goal for Weissman. Sean Weissman then, ball in from the right-hand side again from Pablo Sáenz. Weissman is at hand. He's just been signed again by Granada. Makes his return from Salernitana in Serie B. End of a loan spell there, the centre forward.
This looks too easy. Played quick enough. not organized in terms of their marking. You can see Dar was late. His positioning was completely wrong.
75 days since the last day of last season. We are ready to do it all again.
Good to have you with us on your World of Champions.
It's absolutely unbelievable! Brilliant! Just brilliant! That's what they came to see! Wonderful flick. Big moments! Call for big names!
That is quite something! Glorious hat-trick! The night of his life!
Get all the football, all the time, all in one place. All on SuperSport on DSTV.
Who would have thought that this GWMP series could be as obedient as Fifi? Stay. 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 What a good boy. Hundreds of safety features like lane keeping assist, auto emergency braking, and blind spot monitoring. That's the value of more. Go with more. The GWMP series.
Kwezi! We're in Hollywood, baby.
I present to you Zip It Big. Look familiar, Mr. Wilson?
Where's Kwezi?
Will somebody find the actor?
Oh, yeah. Mr. Kwasi, we need you on set.
It's showtime. Woo!
Again.
For every 50 Rand you bet on casino during happy hour, you'll get 10 bonus spins.
Again.
The more you spin, the more you could win. It's that chill.
Again.
Bet more. Get more. With SuperSport Bet. For the fans.
Well, the biggest sporting spectacle in South Africa. The fans have turned out in their numbers.
Good to have you with us on your World of Champions.
That is absolutely sublime.
What a moment!
He's staying in the hunt. It's a dozen in the league this season. And it's one of his best.
All the D-Ski, only on your World of Champions.
Potter winning the grand final.
I think I've always wanted to be good at sport, and I've always dreamt of doing it as a career, but my parents always pushed me to do my studies at university, and I'm just glad that it's worked out. Because I didn't do triathlon, as a junior or through grassroots, it has taken time. It's taken a lot of perseverance and patience, something which I'm not very, well, I'm good at persevering, but I'm not good at being patient. It's taught me a lot about myself, and I'm glad I did it, but it's not been easy. I think for me, just everything about the Olympics, it's the top medal. It's the medal that everyone wants. It's just such a good atmosphere. I love watching all the other sports. I get emotional watching other people realise their dreams. I hope I can realise mine.
And becoming world champion at the age of 31.
We'll get here one day. That one day could be today, my brother.
We are officially on the World of Champions, and that's what we're going to do with the Olympics. We are going to bring you closer to your champions. SuperSport, popcorn and cheese, unplugged, together.
Just brilliant! That's what they came to see! Big moments! Call for big names!
That is quite something! Glorious hat-trick! The night of his life!
All the the football, all the time, all in one place. All on SuperSport on DSTV.
¿Cuál es el de Abu Dhabi? ¿El de Abu Dhabi que te he dicho?
Que no me sé el nombre, tío, pero es un equipo, porque era al no sé qué.
Abu Dhabi team?
Abu Dhabi team?
No.
Al Jazeera? Yeah. I don't know the name exactly. What's the colors? Do you know Javi Martinez? Yes. the team where he plays. We are going to
as the players and officials make their way across from the far side of the Banus Football Centre in Marbella. We welcome you back on your World of Champions to this international club-friendly match between Granada and Orlando Pirates, one of a couple of South African teams that are doing their pre-season for the Premier League in Europe. Mamelodi Sundowns were up here as well. Kaizer Chiefs purportedly in Turkey, and there are going to be matches played between foreign clubs as well and TX Galaxy, but we believe that's going to be in South Africa anyway, in Mpumalanga. But Orlando Pirates taking the opportunity to play in Europe. They played against Plymouth Argyle, and goals from Magopa and Dar contributed to the South African side's 2-2 draw against the Plymouth Argyle side, and that was on Friday the 12th of July. On Monday, a match against Sevilla, who ended 14th in the La Liga last season, and that was a good result. Tim and Dlamini, neither of whom are in the starting lineup today, scoring the goals for a 2-0 victory. So Orlando Pirates have scored in every match they've played so far in the pre-season, conceded in 2 out of the 3 matches, and it's a good clean sheet against Sevilla as the Granada side comes back out into the park as well. I see there's already a 1 change. Lucas Zidane, the French goalkeeper, is about to take his place. Chine stays between the posts for Orlando Pirates. And so for that matter, does Tshegofatso Mabasa. Do you see the big figure of Famara Diodou, the Senegalese striker, who's standing around the centre circle waiting for us to get underway for the second half. Also Sergio Rodelas. So underway then for the second 45 minutes. Pre-season friendlies between Granada and Orlando Pirates. Orlando Pirates finishing second in South Africa's Premier League behind Mamelodi Sundowns last season. Granada finishing at the bottom of La Liga, relegated to the first division. Gilberto looking already to make an impact from the left-hand side in the second half. We'll try and ring or give you some of the changes that have come about in the second half of this one. It always is a little bit of a melee, taking into consideration the previous matches that we have covered for you on your World of Champions. And already an opportunity at the far post, and a little sleepy in defence there, I thought, and nearly Serenia Fay, the Frenchman, bursting down that right-hand channel, just about causing a problem for Pirates early on.
I would be worried. Too worried. It's a big let-off, in fact, because when you look at the defense, no one attacking that ball, no one anticipating that. It's pretty obvious that there's going to be a cross coming through. I think the coach would be pleased that they're scoring goals, but he'll be trying to talk to the defense to say you need to cut out certain movements and anticipate. Those that they so far not looking so organized, a lot of Pirates.
Yeah, lots of changes from the Granada side in particular. Not so much from Orlando Pirates, as Tabiso Lobitso covers for the Buccaneers. Already I can see Lucas Zidane, the goalkeeper, Martin Hongela, the Cameroonian, in the midfield, as well as Famara Diodou and Serenia Fay from Senegal and France, respectively. So don't be surprised if we identify a whole bunch more players that are playing. Yeah, in the foreground there was Sergio Rodelas, who's just on the left-hand side of attack. Quite surprising that Orlando Pirates hasn't made the changes. We anticipated plenty of changes coming from Pirates. Serene Fay playing the closest to Sipo Chaini in the striker's role.
I think when you look at some of these players being the third game that they're playing Orlando Pirates, you want to leave some of the players at mileage in those leagues. Your Mabasa needs to get some mileage. Makaula as well.
Captain's armband has been moved to Carlos Neva as well, who's one of the change players. He's playing at Left back is Neva. So wholesale changes made by Guillermo Perez. Now one must understand that this is the first competitive match for Granada since Friday the 24th of May, when they lost by 7-0 against Girona. But the losses were just piling up at that stage. Only 4 in the entire season in victory situations for the Granada side. And they were relegated immediately. Manapula Saleng got a bit of pace about him as Saleng. That's good cover though. 6 defenders back for Granada, not taking any chances here. And it's fascinating, just as it would be for South African fans, to see how Orlando Pirates would reorganize themselves with wholesale changes. But that's exactly what Granada have to do. And maybe this is a very good thing for Guillermo Perez, the coach of Granada in his first tenure with the club, to experiment with.
Well, 2 different reasons. For Orlando Pirates, this is to consolidate based on the success that they've had. And that is why you're going to have, as we see this.
Oh, it's a good ball from Sergio Rodelas, and the ball just taking a little deflection of a Pirates defender.
That's a big let-off.
Yep. They've had 2 so far in the opening 4 minutes of the second half.
Defensively, not looking convincing at all. As I was saying, for Pirates, it's more consolidation. You know, looking at the different options they have in each and every position they have. So it's more consolidation. But for Granada, it's pressing the reset button, starting all over again. As we see, there's a player in
Talent and Barter.
Oh.
Just seemed to, as he delivered the ball, he just seemed to pull up. So whether that's self-inflicted or whether there was an injury that he carried into the second half and is aggravated. Little break in play here, but it's fascinating to see that it's the Spanish side that have made all of the changes. As he's helped back to his feet is the former SuperSport United midfielder by Serene Faye, the Frenchman. Yeah, it's been rather interesting because at the beginning of the first half and the beginning of the second half, Orlando Pirates were tested and there were great opportunities. We'll remember from the right-hand side when Sanz had a great opportunity that was parried onto the bar by Sipho Chahine, and then from the respective or the resultant corner kick, it was Machopo headed the ball away to safety. So the start of the second half, it almost seems to be a similar situation, as there's a foul from Makaleni Makahula, who's already on a yellow card. And the yellow card issued to both him and to Josuiak for that little fracas we saw just before half-time.
What do you expect from a defensive midfielder? He doesn't pull out from any challenges.
Totally uncompromising.
That's been his game. Doesn't matter, friendly, real game situation. He's that sort of player.
Be a free kick for Granada. Interesting listening to our 2 presenters having a chat to Zach Lapass at half-time and talking about the hot conditions that abound here in Marbella. In the heat of the summer season. Orlando Pirates just on the back foot momentarily, but nice ball forward by Mayela. Maswankani. And the ball was a little behind him, and Mabasa, I don't think it was the worst ball. I think Granada were just organised in the right places at the right time. Mabasa remains on the seat of his pants, bemoaning his situation, not being able to take advantage of what looked like a fairly decent pass by Maswankani initially.
One other thing which they do well, you know, Granada, as you attack them straight from the midfield, they sort of congest that area defensively, and they try and force you to play it wide. And you just have to be pretty precise in terms of your passing and the decisiveness.
Now, good decisiveness on the attack there by Orlando Pirates, forcing the mistake from the captain, Carlos Neva. They do have possession, though, do Granada. So far, still a feeling out process because, yeah, it's not only the players, as the ball's given away rather carelessly here to Gilberto. Maswankani looking to pull the trigger. It's good cover there, though, by Hungela, the Cameroonian. Good first touch as well from Serene Faye. Looking to play themselves out of trouble here. Looking for a place in the first-team lineup when Granada line up against Almeria on Saturday. Side who they faced in the La Liga season, the one that's just passed, and they'll face again with both sides having been relegated, along with Cadiz. Yeah, it's I suppose for Granada, with a whole host of new players getting used to each other. But for Orlando Pirates, it's a different story as well, because suddenly you're used to playing against maybe an Opong or a Science or a Villar or whatever the case might be. All of a sudden there's a Insua or a Melendo or a Rodriguez or a Diadu. And it's a different player, maybe plays off a different foot, maybe has a different style in front of you. So for both sides, when one side makes a lot of changes, yeah, it's a readjustment.
Well, you could say so, but I think the expectation is that it's the identity of the game. I don't think a Granada being in Spain, there would be difference in terms of the style of kicking the ball forward. It's all about how we use the ball. Do we use it in such a way that they normally want to hide the ball from the opponent? And they say, if you don't have the ball on your feet, how do you play? And that's what we're seeing now. So for Pirates, it's a question of matching that. That's how they play themselves. So there is identity on both teams. Whereas for Pirates, like I say, it's all about consolidation. But then for Granada, it's about building for the future. You know, they find themselves in a situation where they have to start all over again to try and get back into the La Liga.
Well, it's difficult for a side at the start of a campaign where you are 22 teams, 42 matches to play.
Yeah.
One thinks of the South African Premier League and Cape Town Spurs, who were relegated, and they face a similar situation, although there's only 16 teams in either league.
Yeah.
Pressure being provided by Rotelas, and Rotelas has taken a bit of a push from Tibisa Lobitso.
Is it something? Is it on the face?
Yeah, it might have been just in the neck, or maybe even in the jaw. He's holding onto his neck is the substitute, Sergio Rodelas. Bit of support coming from Famara Diudu.
He's up.
Referee and Super Chaine having a little conversation. I'm not sure how good the Orlando Pirates goalkeeper's Spanish is, but I'm sure the referee might have a smattering of English that might help matters.
How many Spanish words do you know? Do you know any Spanish greetings? Do you have any word that you know about in Spanish?
Oh, really?
Not really. Okay, I'll teach you one.
Okay.
There's a favorite track that I play all the time. It's called Sukasa. Now that means welcome to my space.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, thank you so much.
Sukasa.
I accept.
You accept.
Yeah.
Welcome. You must get that track. It's a beautiful track. It's called Sukasa. S-U-C-A. S-A.
Well, we know about Senor and Senorita.
Yeah, that's for people who like dancing. You know that.
I must give a lot of credit to what Spain have achieved in the last couple of days. Winning Euro 2024 over England and winning Wimbledon as well with Alcaraz. So there's been some success on the international stage for the Spanish side. Lots of celebrations to be had.
You watched that game?
I didn't watch the game.
The tennis.
Kicks off at 9 o'clock at night, dude. It's like, you know, some of us have a bedtime. A curfew, self-imposed.
Okay, mine is at 10.
Granada pushing players forward. Nice work defensively. Hongler moved onto the right back position, the Cameroonian, with all the changes made at half-time. Nice run by Hongler down that far side of the pitch. The more I see of Gilberto, the more I like of him, because he's played almost a little bit as a holding midfield. He's played defensively. He obviously is very much of an attacker that can be used both inverted and in his customary position. And I think he offers quite a lot. Hence, you know, his recognition and signing from Petro. Goalkeeper getting himself in a bit of trouble here. Zidane, 3 Pirates players around him. Zidane's done awfully well, and then through ball to Diadou. Nice cover, though, from Thabiso Lapitso, as suddenly the match threatens to burst into life.
Listen, you can't have a name, Zidane, and your basics are wrong. So you can expect that from the keeper. If you carry the name, the surname Zidane, there's something special about you. And he's just displayed how comfortable he is on the ball under pressure.
Rodelas again. Followed by Insua. Hongla. A little bit stop-start for a moment. I think the referee just maybe spotting a piece of jewelry on the Cameroonian's arm and hands it to a teammate. Heading up towards an hour of football played in Marbella. Orlando Pirates 1, Granada 1.
Was there an attempt to beat the keeper who was off his line? I think so.
Might very well have been. It's interesting the tactics we're seeing from Jose Rivero in the second half, because yeah, it's taken Pirates maybe 14-15 minutes to settle down. Ball given away to Monapuna Saleng. It's a nice save from Zidane. Got himself in trouble.
The big mistake was to play it high. Played low.
Gonzalo Villar, one of the only players from Granada to have been retained for the second half, and see the referee pointing towards the halfway line. This is how he got himself in trouble, the keeper.
You see, if you played high, it's within his reach. You know, so not a good decision at all. Are we expecting some more changes? Looks like it.
Well, I'm not seeing the
I'm not too
rolling
sure.
arm.
Okay.
Maybe he
sign language.
Just wants the ball to be returned into the middle of the park, which it is to Hongla, the Cameroonian. Back to Villa. Gilberto's done nicely. Saleng making a good run as well. Gilberto, Saleng. Might have been played just a little too strongly from the Angolan.
Question is, was it intended? Because we don't have the full shot. Was it intended for him? If it is, then I don't think it's the best pass at all.
Rodelas, well marshalled by Lapitso. Chine. Diadu's already done his homework. He knows that the goalkeeper is right-footed, so he closed down that angle in space and gave himself an opportunity as well, because he positioned himself just on the outside of Chaine's potential clearance. And if the ball had come to him, it can deflect in two ways, either away to his left-hand side, I'm talking about the Frenchman, or into Chinese own goal. So some intelligent football by the Senegalese attacker.
Gilberto, in the meantime, is causing problems on that left-hand side. Water break?
Could very well be. We are 61 minutes in. Unless there's wholesale changes that are going to come here. Well, I think we go for part 2 of that one.
Yeah.
Wholesale changes. Bloodlet's going to come on.
Gee,
let's have a look at the players here. Thabiso Monyane. Yeah, it's all changed, sir. It sounds like remember a conductor on a railway train prior to electrification, those sort of things, and maybe the passenger trains not being as prolific as they were in the past. And it would be getting to a station, and it would be all change. And passengers must get off and others get on.
Okay.
Long distance trains.
I haven't seen.
This is the fourth official is playing station master almost, or conductor.
I didn't see that on your CV. Is that what you used to do? I didn't see that on your CV.
Some things are for.
You spoke with some form of experience.
Even Miguel Tim's on, so we got Tim on. Probably got Hotter on as well. Well, they have just about all of Pirates off, because even changing goal with Gladler.
No, what you used to do in PE back then. Okay.
Back then.
Okay.
Remember those big steel trolleys that you put all the baggage on?
Now you know.
Miguel Tim gets a touch.
Now you're the commentator. That's like a long way.
I've got a promotion.
Okay.
Kosenati Sibisi is also on the field, but we'll ring through the players that have been brought on by Orlando Pirates. Taking maybe a little bit longer now, because in the previous match against Sevilla, I think out of the 10 substitutions that were made, 9 were made at half-time, and the other one is made in the 68th minute. But here, there's been a bit more patience shown by Jose Rivero. He's nearly had 18, 17 minutes of play by the players that started the encounter. Now it's all change.
Yeah.
Little touch there from Otladisa. Nice to see the former Maruma Gallants player getting a run here.
I think one of the quickest goals that he scored, one of the beautiful goals that he scored, Maruma Gallants, I think they played Chiefs. And he took players on, and he scored, I think, one of the most beautiful goals. It's beautiful.
Interesting. And for those who weren't aware of it, and I'm sure as a South African, if you weren't aware of it, then I would be surprised about the sale of Morocco Swallows to the Maruma Gallants chairman, and the imminent move to Bloemfontein and playing their football in Mangaung, and Dylan Kerr, the coach. So, yeah, things change. We've got a new team, Magesi FC, with Clinton Larson, who've been promoted from the First Division. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting season. Richards Bay FC just got themselves a massive sponsor. Congratulations to them. And, yeah, already claiming that they want to compete with the top teams in the Premier League, the Chiefs and the Pirates and the Sundowns and whatever. So that's going to be fascinating to see how football develops up in the top part of KwaZulu-Natal. Mhlatuzi is where they're based, if the stadium has been rectified by then. But yeah, it's you know, just like in the Spanish Primera Liga, La Liga, and in the Segunda División, it's fascinating as what are the situations in Orlando Pirates, and we're not that far away from getting the respective seasons up and running.
You know, the biggest challenge, you have the resources, true, but to build a team into a very cohesive, solid, it takes us a couple of seasons.
Certainly does. Orlando Pirates in position to score a goal, cleared off the line, maybe.
It's no
goal, says the referee.
Do we have VAR?
Well, that's a little bit fortunate. It came off the inside of the post, dribbled along the goal line.
I would want to see that again.
Lucas Zidane comes up with a, in big inverted commas, a save.
Let's see that. That's Kiviri there sitting out Babasa. A goal written all over it. Yeah. No, it's not a goal. I know I'm due for another eye test, but that one, no.
Karim Kimvuidi with the burst through the middle. I did really like the way he played his football at Maritzburg United before they were relegated a couple of seasons ago. He's a good player. He's around about 21, 22 years old from the DRC. Very, very competitive.
An exciting player. I mean, I'm glad that they've kept him. And I was fortunate to do the first game that he played for Maritzburg. And I just said, he's a colorful personality in terms of the style. And looking at Pirates now, when you look at Gilberto and you have him, these are colorful characters and personalities in the club. And I think it complements the history of Orlando Pirates. They've always had personalities that would draw attention from opponents, but also make the fans to have an appointment with that sort of player. There we see him.
Touch for Tabisa Monyane as well. Wide on the right-hand side. He's playing in his first match, or he's getting his first encounter to play during this overseas tour by Orlando Pirates. Not only the players that enjoyed a drink now and again, looks like the cameraman's enjoying himself. Oh, that's a lovely curling effort from Mabasa that goes wide.
Good intentions, eh? I said Mabasa is Dlamini. You know, they made the changes.
Well, it's good to see, even if it is Dlamini,
yeah,
to see players, because Dlamini was playing wide on the right just now when I saw him, but good to see players from that position having left-footed efforts to that sort of quality.
Did he not score a goal against Plymouth?
He did too.
It's a beauty.
No, he scored. Yeah, he scored against Sevilla with Tim.
Sevilla. Yeah, it was a beauty.
Tim almost as if he's about to set off in a 4x100 meter relay. Orlando Pirates enjoying a good passage of possession at the moment. This will be encouraging for Jose Rivero. Of course, it does help when you have whole host of players and fresh legs in these warm conditions. I suppose that's one of the reasons why we've seen mass substitutions on this tour by Orlando Pirates. One more match to play, by the way. It comes on Friday against SAST of Qatar. They are the Qatari champions. Champions for 7 times in the Qatari League. Miguel Term hustled away in the middle of the park by Rodelas. Nice recovery from Miguel. Really has just grown and grown since he joined Orlando Pirates. And there was a lot of criticism in the beginning that many people thought that Miguel Term was just a little, you know, beyond his depth at a big club like Orlando Pirates. But I tell you what, he's developed such consummate skills.
Beside that, he's a fan favorite. Every time he comes on, better pick this up, or he's in possession, they're always saying his name. They've coined this thing about team, you know, that kind of thing. He has so much time on the ball. He creates, he reads the game so well. Is it another water break?
Yeah, it is, yeah, water break. Mabasa and Dlamini trudging out towards the halfway line. That's never easy when you're playing away from home, or you are away from home for a long period of time in playing in these very, very hot conditions. When at home it's cool, but this is the pre-season, and yeah, if the weather conditions aren't hot, then certainly when you're playing against your opposition, the match could reach a heat that is unprecedented. These are international friendlies, though, and there's so many of them going along. I mean, if you have a look on the different platforms that we can get updated scores from, like the flash scores, etc., etc., Soccerway, then you'll see just how many, every single day, how many friendly club matches are being played all over the place, right across the whole of Europe. African sides playing up in Europe, and yeah, it's fascinating. The whole world has come alive suddenly with the anticipation of leagues kicking off within the next couple of weeks or so, and in South Africa and Spain it's no exception.
The business side of it is to look at the friendly that's coming up. I think it's TS Galaxy who are going to be hosting the team in Germany, because that stadium is part of the legacy project of 2010, and I think to drive traffic there, tourism will be boosted when you have that sort of friendly. But also the exposure when you talk about South African teams going out to play. Chiefs played in Botswana last season. Chiefs went to Tanzania. So it's good experience for the players in terms of exposure and coping with the demands of playing in different competitions. If you qualify for that for Pirates, because of the demands for players in terms of the competitions they've got to play this season, it's good to test the character, build the endurance of the players mentally to be able to cope with the demands that comes with picking your bag. You live out of a suitcase.
Absolutely.
You live out of a suitcase. When you play for Pirates team, Pirates at this stage and Sundowns, you literally live out of a suitcase all the time.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
So just about to get underway then for the resumption of this international friendly encounter. I'm sure on all of the different platforms, whether it be your social media platforms and your own personal pages, websites of different clubs, and Twitter pages, Instagram, whatever. There's so many forums in which you can follow your favorite team, or a team that your favorite team is likely to be playing against soon, as Miguel Tim picks up possession again, and suddenly there seems to be a slightly more aspirant spring in the step of Granada as they come out to play for the second half. This is Rodelas, man and ball at the same time, and did the referee blow for that? Certainly was a foul from Rodelas.
I guess it's a friendly, there's no need for a yellow card, right? Because this deserves a yellow card. Looking at it now, but I guess it's a friendly.
Pablo Insua, the guilty party. Have been 2 yellow cards, one for either side during the first half. But yeah, as you say, you know, this is a good preparation, a good build-up for the coming season, because once it gets underway, I mean, you know, Orlando Pirates are playing in the Champions League again, and there's 3 cup competitions in South African football, as well as the international ones. And then the league season in Granada, as we said, are in a league where there's 21 opposition teams, and they'll want to bounce back straight into the La Liga format for the season after the one upcoming.
Ah, that's a good score. That's Kimvidi. I'm not surprised.
Just about at the half-hour mark of the second half. Pick up here by Carlos Neva. It's a very good piece of defending from Orlando Pirates and Kosanati Sibisi. Miguel Tim. Will tickle up towards Cabello Dlamini, suddenly playing more of a midfield role.
What a pass.
Otladisa. Kimvuwidi. Lots of blue jerseys back behind the ball for Granada as well. Orlando Pirates 1, Granada 1. Sibisi. Onyani back to Sibisi. It's a nice little touch. Dlamini waiting for the ball to come back to him from Mapasa. And the South African side with all the possession at the moment and looking for even more on the left-hand side. Hotto's out there. Kimvuwidi's moved out there as well. Can play in various roles as well. Can the man from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Swiped away by Granada. Rescue act again from Monyani. Might get another touch here, Monyani. Good possession here and a nice pace from Orlando Pirates as well.
Interesting. Granada just congesting that area. More of a low block, just waiting for them.
See Rasebocha, the other SuperSport United new signing, is on. Kimvuwidi with a shot.
Deflection.
Almost thought it was a deflection, yeah.
I thought it was a deflection.
Maybe from a teammate, because that's no corner.
It's possible.
Zidane taking his time somewhat. Eventually we'll have playback underway. Quickly closed down by Mabasa, forcing Granada into conceding possession once again, and this is good work by Orlando Pirates. Wide again by Sesani. So all of the substitutes named have had some part to play. Evidence Makhopa left the field early, Mabasa on in his place, so he's not likely to be changed because all the other players have been utilized. Blood Lane goal. Haven't seen too much of him. Sibisi, Sesani, Monyani, Hotto, Tim, Rasebocha, Dlamini, Kimvuwidi, Otladisa. Rasebocha. It's a good ball and a nice first touch as well, except
offside
for the offside.
Now, question is, if the ball gets switched to you, and in that position you had a big view in terms of the defensive line of the opponent, at what point do you decide to get yourself offside? It's a very tricky one. But those are details of the game as an individual where you need to be able to read the situation for the opponent defensively.
Absolutely. Forward by Insua. Neva gets a touch, looking for Rodelas. Again, the cover is good from Sibisi.
He needs to be told that he's up against a very tough customer.
Very tough.
Very tough.
Don't forget that on Friday, there's a match against the Qatar champions, Al Saad, as Orlando Pirates will wrap up their overseas trip, and hopefully they'll be able to get all the analysis put together. Because that's the other thing that comes out of matches like this. Every time there are one of these matches, the individual analysis, those little monitors the players wear for how much mileage, how many touches, their breathing rates and recovery rates and all those sort of things. There's so much that the analysts take into consideration, not just how many passes they put together. Rodelas in the meantime looking to put Granada in front. They haven't been in front in this match. They had to fight from behind after the goal from Gilberto in just the 20th minute. We haven't had a goal since the 23rd minute. It's been a long time. This is Neva. It's been allowed to track forward. Header over the top from Faye.
Big letter for Orlando Pirates. I thought once more defensively they didn't look convincing.
It has been something that you've mentioned a few times.
Yeah, if you look at Otto, he was a couple of seconds late. And if that becomes a habit in a real game situation, then you get punished.
Yeah, you will be punished properly.
And it all starts here. Your state of readiness starts here for a real stage where you're going to be up against opponents that anything can happen. We saw Mufokeng's goal against in the Bank Cup where he scored very late. Classic.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Beauty.
Zidane off his line. Forward by Miguel Tim. Bit of foraging going on from Mario Gonzalez in the pocket for Granada. So the warm-ups will continue this coming weekend for both Pirates and Granada. Granada will be up against a side that they played with and against in La Liga in the past season, and will, with both being relegated, they'll meet again in the coming campaign. Pirates up against Al Sadd, as we said. Player down seems to be Oscar Melendo.
Sima was rushing to the touchline. I'm not too sure whether is he going to receive some instructions or what the situation is. Is he getting substituted?
Quarter about to get a run. I didn't see Quarter named on the score sheet that was posted online, but certainly an opportunity for Nkorta to come and have a little run here. Mahal Nkorta played as a substitute against Plymouth Argyle, didn't play against Sevilla, and will get his second run for Orlando Pirates. Starting to get a little bit heated out there.
Some are getting special attention.
Yeah, you want there to be an element of passion, I suppose.
Who's a specialist there? Damini, I bet on him.
Yeah, I'd bet on him. Wait for the whistle. Is the call? Damini's not even looking at the match referee. Doesn't look like it's going to be a direct effort. It certainly isn't. The referee says wait for the whistle, which was his initial call, but Damini wasn't looking at the referee when he was showing the whistle to the South African midfielder.
Maybe not familiar with the sign language.
Not at all. You always have something to learn in this game, don't you?
Yeah.
Nkorta gets his first touch. Lebidi was near him, and maybe that was the better option. Tim with the foul. Referee hasn't blown for it. Kimfuwidi. Still a chance for Orlando Pirates. Never with hands behind backs. Makes the initial clearance. Will make the second one as well. Ball hasn't been kept in play by either side. Yeah, with only 8 minutes remaining in the 90 and stoppage time, of course, at the end of the match, there's an apparent growing impetus towards grabbing a winning goal. And don't forget, Pirates haven't lost in their 3 matches played so far. As another introductee is Jose Mas-Lorens for Granada, that is. Immediately gets a touch in the holding midfield, which looks like the position that Mas-Lorens is going to occupy for the remainder of the game, unless there's an injury. Rodelas, been quite a thorn in the flesh on this left-hand side of Orlando Pirates. They run out of space to Granada, and in that though is good defending from the Buccaneers.
They look a little bit blunt this time around in the second half compared to how they played in the first half. I mean, there was more forward passes, making inroads into the Pirates box, but they look a little bit blunt. Pirates, of course, making the changes. They're much more adventurous in terms of getting the ball forward.
Justification for the starting lineup then by the new coach, Guillermo Perez. I'm sure he'll learn a lot from the Almeria match in their next encounter, and those that are played prior to the start of the Segunda División season in Spain. Nice little touch wide by Diadou. Pass is not quite going where they were intended, and a foul on Miguel Tim.
He's more like the boss, you know. He always wants to create a couple of seconds for himself when he's in possession. Team.
Good amount of pace that the players arrive at from Granada, and pressure here on Sipo Choine, and possession conceded by Sipisi. Granada with a real opportunity, played back to Neva. Mas Lorenz. Skip out towards Miguel Rubio. Yeah, once the season gets underway, there's very little respite, except maybe with international breaks for World Cup and in the African contest, African Cup of Nations qualification, or in Europe, Euro qualification. But other than that, once the season gets underway, yeah, there's very little chance. And when you have an injury, or could be a physical injury, could be a psychological lapse, when you suffer confidence problems, and that's a real thing. You know, people say, yeah, well, just, you know, get over it, sleep well, you know, take this tablet and wake up tomorrow and you'll be fine. It doesn't work as easily as that, does it?
But confidence is something that is always in all of us. It's a question of when do you bring it back? When do you trigger it?
Yeah, when is it forced upon you?
Yeah, I think it's a personal thing that you've got to try and deal with, because being a footballer, it's demanding. I've always said you have fans that have an appointment with you to perform week in, week out. They don't care how you feel and what you've gone through. So it's got to be in you, because there's expectations. Once you get into the field of play, that has to get out of your mind. And that could be unfair because we're not from the same background. But this game is all about arrogance, positive arrogance, where you've got to come out and become an entertainer.
Believe it, own it.
Yeah, believe it and own it. Well said.
Granada and Orlando Pirates, 4 minutes away from full time in Marbella. As things stand at the moment, Orlando Pirates will continue with an unbeaten run on their pre-season trip. Granada, I don't think we'll be too unhappy with a 1-1 situation. Their first match that they've played since the 24th of May. Having to rejig the squad after having lost a number of players, as is normally the case when you get relegated. I can't imagine any team in the world holding on to their entire squad, whether it be from a numbers point of view, where you can only retain so many, or from a financial point of view as well. But there have been a number of players that have been lost.
You know, you talk about the finances. I've got to give credit, of course, to your Pirates, your Chiefs, your Sundowns. The resources that they have done, the investment they have done in the club. I mean, Pirates coming to Spain, Sundowns going to Holland, you know, those kind of things. So for me, it's massive investment. And credit has got to go to the officials that have built such big ambitions for this group of players, to say it is possible for you. I mean, you're taking the game to the next level. It's massive, massive investment into the sport.
And both of these teams have achievements that they need to make. I mean, Orlando Pirates have had fabulous seasons. They haven't won the league for about 12 years, but they, league and cup. I mean, a cup double last season, and the season before that, and beating Mamelodi Sundowns in the process of winning the FA Cup of South African football, the Nedbank Cup, and Granada have themselves reinvent themselves. They want to play straight back in La Liga by the end of the season in mid-2025. Orlando Pirates will want to build on this sort of situation, then take the game to Mamelodi Sundowns. And while we're talking about Sundowns, there's 2 minutes remaining. I mean, all of a sudden, Rolani Mokoena finds himself up in Morocco as a coach, and Steve Compella's gone from Abafana Bestende back to Sundowns. But is there now a gap? Is there now a space? Is it a gap that's been opened up for the chasing pack to, maybe we can take advantage of this sort of disruption? There wasn't any disruption between Pizzo and Rolani. I mean, there just seemed to be a growing impetus in what Mamelodi Sundowns achieved, particularly as far as their league domination is concerned in South African football. And does that now change? Or is there the potential to change?
Well, I'll answer it in this way. I think for me, let's have a look at this.
Yeah, Rodelas putting a lot of pressure on Tepiso Monyani, who I thought has done rather nicely. Gets congratulated by Chaine.
It's a corner. We'll come back to that.
He's played nicely as Rodelas. Sergio Rodelas, since he's come on. Now, this has been a bit of a danger. We haven't had a corner in an awfully long time from Granada, but when they have had corners, the aerial presence has been impressive in the first half. Now, in the second half, there's been all these massive changes. Does it change how Orlando Pirates defend? Because there's been some question marks here. Melendo with a delivery. A little bit of a run towards the near post. Cleared away by the Buccaneers. I think there might have been a little touch in there from Kim Vuidi, actually, and eventually a free kick.
Yeah, just to get back quickly to answer you based on what you were asking for, to say, is it the time for Pirates? I think for me, it's not about whether Coach Rolani is there or not. I think the reason Pirates lost, it's because of themselves, not because of Sundowns. But I think there was a point where crucial matches which they needed to win, they didn't win. I also think that they are at that level. It reminds me of one of the successful coaches they've had in Rudy Kroll. It took him almost 3 seasons for him to get the team right and to get them to build a pattern where the winning culture was there. I think Pirates are at that stage now where it doesn't matter whether there's Sundowns, it doesn't matter whether it has to be with the players themselves to say, at crucial moments, we need to perfect the details, because it's more like running a marathon and falling flat when there's about 10 minutes to go for it.
That's not going to work, is it?
It's not going to work.
We're minutes already into second half stoppage time in Marbella. Granada 1, Pirates 1. And as far as the match is concerned, I think both teams will get something out of it. The referee's blown for full time, but I really do think that both sides, looking at the analysis and having a look at the recording of this match, will get something out of this encounter. We haven't had any goals in the second half. Both goals coming in the first. Gilberto with his debut goal for Pirates in the 20th minute. Weissman, the Israeli striker, 3 minutes later. Those are the only goals that have come so far. But it has been entertaining, and if it wasn't in patches, it is because it's pre-season. And these international friendlies will continue with Granada against Almeria on Saturday. Pirates will play against the Qatar champions a day earlier, Al Sadd, and the build-up towards the beginning of the respective Spanish second division and Orlando Pirates Premier League campaigns will continue. It's been entertaining. There's been many changes, but I think the fans have enjoyed the football here today, and it all ends Pirates 1, Granada 1.
Banus.